Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome. This is Wednesday, December the 27th, and I'm just delighted that you're taking the time from your holiday week to join us. It's a week that we generally in our household take a minute to, or take a few days to sit down, look at our year in review, look at our coming year, which we've already done a lot on that coming year activity and calendars and the big rocks, and we've had that conversation already within our team about what's important in our lives. But this call specifically is about reflection and taking a step back. So Sally and I are going to team up together tonight and guide us through this. And we're going to take a few minutes. I'll start us off to guide us on reflection, what it is, what happens when you don't take a minute to step back and reflect, and then the importance of it. And then I'll pass the baton to Sally for a little bit, and then she'll bring it back to me and we'll have a close. So let's just talk a minute about what is self-reflection and why is it important? I think that's the question. I think so many of us um, go through life and we never take a minute to ourselves to really either journal or look at our calendars or look what's working or what's not working. And an article that I found a little while ago, a couple of years ago, really spoke heavily to me. And one of the stories in there was about a world champion athlete, Craig Alexander, who is a five-time Ironman world champion. And he talked about his own journey to becoming a five-time. And if you know what Ironman is, you know that that's the extreme sport of the extreme sports. It does everything. So how did he become a five-time Ironman champion, world champion? And he talked about reflection and how after every race, he and his team took a look at everything that was done. His mental attitude going into the race, when they gave him water, when they gave him his salt tablets, when they gave him this, when they gave him this, and when they gave him that, and how things went. And he said he did it after each race. He and Tim will reflect and understand that what went well and what could be improved upon. I don't know if you all have ever done that. I know I've done that in my own journey. I've tried to look at what I could improve upon. And they picked apart every tiny detail, from the shape of his helmet to when he took a salt tablet to when what his emotional state said. As I said at the beginning of a race. And he did the same thing in practice, not just in the race. He did it in his practice time as well. And he says the time he took to stop and reflect about what went well or the details of his performance shaved seconds off of his racing time, which was often the difference between winning and losing. And he went on to say that this is what made him a five-time world champion. Now, we might sit back and say, well, that was good for him, but we're not world athletes. We're not world-class athletes. But what happens when we don't reflect? And I think we've heard the saying from Jim Rohn, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I don't know how many of you have heard that saying, but I went to school on Jim Rohn early on in my business career journey with this company. And really, he was in my car. He was in my ear all the time. And some of the stuff I still quote him all the time. But insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting different results. Yet, would you all agree that that is what many of us do? Sometimes we're doing that. We don't take a minute to look what's working and what is not working. So when a project didn't go well, when an event didn't go well, and I'm going to speak specifically to the Juice Plus community. There's a lot of things we could approach and talk about our relationships. I know I do a lot of thinking about relationships with people in my family. I don't know if you all do that or not, but how can I be a better mother, or how can I be a better grandmother or sister or a wife or an aunt? All of those things. What can I do? I was thinking on that today. So taking a minute to reflect on your life, but specifically for this call, we'll talk about our Juice Plus journey, our passion, our mission, and what we're doing. So what happens when we don't reflect? Do we ever fall off the treadmill? We get burnout. I hear people talking about burnout all the time, and that breaks my heart that people would actually get burnt out. when it's not really necessary. So what happens is that we keep on doing the same things over and over again. There's burnout, there's fallout, there's this doesn't work for me, and that's not necessarily true. So the importance of self-reflection, I'm just going to pull out a few key things here about the importance of self-reflection. And one of them is just improving our self-awareness, knowing more about ourselves. Certainly, many people find doing reflection is difficult. Would you all agree that it's difficult or troublesome? I'd rather not do that. I'll get around to it later, the truth be told. But self-awareness and a little soul searching is critical to the success in all areas of our life. And I see some of you are taking notes, and I commend you on that. And so I will encourage you, if you don't have a pencil and piece of paper, to get one out because you're going to need it before this call is over, to grab one real quick. So improve self-awareness. Number 2 is provide perspective. Self-reflection allows us to understand and see things from a different point of view. Would you all not agree with that? We all have different points of view, but we need to look at things differently, how things work and how they don't. When we take a step back from a situation, we gain a new understanding. And we can often see the bigger picture or the whole picture in a different way that we didn't see before. So perspective is very important, and we all have a different perspective on different things. So that's what makes us so unique in our community, is that it's one team, one mission. We all work together in a beautiful way, but we do have different perspectives. The importance of self-reflection is it allows you to respond versus react. And I know that we've heard this before. This is not a new concept, but I'd rather respond versus react to a situation or to a person. And then finally, improves self-confidence and improves our confidence level. And confidence and being confident in what we're doing is so very, very important. When we reflect, we gain a better understanding of what's working and what's not. And this allows us to feel more confident, certainly in what we do, in our actions, in our activities, in our relationships. Confidence is a cool thing, and it is a powerful thing. And it's very attractive. I would say that having confidence in what you're doing it attracts other people to us in what we're doing. And so I just have a lot of confidence, and I don't know how many times I walk through a store, a department store, and people ask me if I'm in charge there, or if I work there. I go, no, I do not. They say, you look like you do. I think that's pretty funny. And so I go like, there must be something that's being put off in that energy that is allowing people to come up and ask you questions. So think about that when you're out in the marketplace in the future. For sure. So I'm going to turn this over to Sally now to walk us through our worksheet. We've posted the worksheet, year in review. It's been posted in the Facebook group. Sally posted it today on Voxer. Some of you may have pulled it out, but if you didn't, Sally, do you want me to go ahead and pull it up, or do you?
Yeah, that's fine.
If you didn't, we've got you covered. All right, Sally.
All right. So I love those 3 things that I wrote down of the value of reflection and what it helps us, what it brings us into, a perspective, a different perspective, perhaps a new perspective, allowing us to respond versus react. That is so powerful. And as we go through this, I worked on it today in preparation for the call, and just that knowing that it would allow, as I'm reflecting, to be able to in the future respond rather than just react to something. And then the confidence, because you've processed some things, right? You've learned some things from what you've been doing, so that naturally builds our confidence. So I love this process to just take a moment, and we're going to take a little time right here on this call to reflect on these. If you've got the form, just you can be filling it out. If you don't, just use a piece of paper. That's great. But just taking the time for this together. And then we'll have some breakouts where you can share 2 or 3 key things that occurred to you in this process. And that always brings so much heart and community when we do that. So let's just start right out with what great happenings happened last year. So were there some celebrations, successes? Maybe there's some habits or actions that you took on. Maybe some things that you learned. Things that you want to keep going. One of the things that just came up for me was the power hours. Starting to do that on a really consistent basis has made a big difference. And I'm definitely bringing that into to 2024. So let's just take a few minutes. We'll take 3 minutes or so. And just think about what are great things in your life, in your business, maybe some travel, things that you're proud of, things that you want to keep doing, momentum that you want to keep doing, activities that you want to keep doing. Maybe you'll form some new habits this year around your physical health or in the business. All right. So, and obviously these sheets are with you, so you can delve into it deeper as well. But let's move on to the next one. So what lessons were learned last year? Maybe some things that didn't work, maybe some challenges or things that have habits that you slipped into that you don't want to carry forward, or actions or lack of some of those actions. So what are some learnings that you had? Because sometimes we can beat ourselves up about some things we didn't do and that didn't happen. But if we turn it into what did I learn from that, that's what brings the power. And then carrying on from that, thinking and feeling, what would my life look like? What would my business look like? What would my relationships look like if that changed? And how would that feel? Really getting into how would it feel if I was released from that? And then last, but definitely not least, gratitude. In order to create abundance, you must first acknowledge and appreciate the abundance you already have. If you operate from what you lack, you will continue to produce outcomes to match it. So, what are the great things in your life right now? What can you be grateful for? All right, and of course, you can spend more time doing it, and many of us do a gratitude practice every single morning. That's how I start my day, along with some other protocols that I do around intention and etc. And gratitude is always first on the list. Just what am I grateful for today? And how do I want to greet this day? Very powerful question. How do I want to show up today? It's a great way to start the day, asking and clarifying and getting into that place of contribution and service. So thanks for jumping in and participating in this. And what we'd like to do is just take about 10 minutes. We're going to do some breakouts and you get a chance to just share 2-3 things, each one of you in your group, top things that you were grateful for, good things happening, or maybe some learnings that you had, some insights that you had that are making a difference in your life and in your business and etc. So,
Well, I think we're going to take breakouts, but that is not showing on my screen.
oh, well, we could, it is a small enough group. We could also just,
Yeah, I think it's not, for
right
some
here.
reason, this is the weirdest thing. It's not showing on my screen at all. Sorry.
That's all right. That's
Do you
great.
think because it's a smaller group, that's why it's doing that? Do you think that's why? I mean, we've done breakouts with a smaller
We
group.
have done
before.
breakouts and it's always shown here, but there is a couple of things here that have not shown up before, so.
Maybe they didn't.
I didn't even look earlier when I was on here to make sure that it showed out. So, okay, let's
Okay.
just do it together.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's just do it together.
Well, I'll start out with one thing I'm excited about. I've worked really hard. And I think of getting closer and closer to accomplishing it is to listen more than speak in my family relations and in any area. But I think that I tend to think very quickly and I blurt out and then I'm in trouble. And I really have prayed on this and worked on it. And it's been a beautiful daily exercise, and I'm seeing the results by the end of this year. So I'm praising God for that. It's a big deal for me and for our family.
That's wonderful, Beth. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think we could all, at least I could definitely, I'm going to add that.
I am adding that.
Before you talk.
One year my word was pause, the year that was pause, so I would pause before I would speak.
Yes, good. I like
know what
that.
you're saying.
I hate the feelings of regret.
Oh, it's something that I just came across the other day that I had saved for a, a number of years. I mean, it was a newspaper clipping that had actually turned yellow. It was so old. It was a Dear Abby article, and it was something that she called Just for Today. And if you want to make big changes in your life, if you could just do it just for today, I'm going to do this. Just for today, I'm going to be kinder to strangers. Just for today, whatever. And you can make your list on a daily basis. So I am going to live by that and do some things just for today. And if I do just for today enough days in a row, it'll become part of my daily habit and routine. And I just found that I had saved it for a good reason.
Yeah,
That's great.
that's great. Yeah. Takes the pressure off, right?
Yes.
Just for today. Yeah.
I think one of the things that I feel really good about is those intentions of the non-negotiables at the beginning of the year. Like, I'm going to commit to being on the Monday night call every single Monday. I'm going to, Kentucky Lakes Boot Camp. I'm going to make sure I make it to Juice Plus Live. I'm going to do the level ups, and putting those at the beginning of the year, and then to see those all fulfilled. It's gratifying to know, I said what I was going to do. So I had integrity for myself in following through on those things.
That's awesome.
Mm.
Well, that's really good, Paula. And the word integrity is when you put it down there and you follow through. Integrity is a huge thing. Thank you.
That's what Travis reminded us of, is that commitment is doing the thing you said you would do long after the emotion of the moment had passed. You said you were going to do those things, you did them, and that does give you a real feeling of accomplishment, doesn't it?
Sure.
Great.
Well, I'm going to share one of the things that I did this 10 great happening. One of my 10 great happenings, one was exercise. I started the year in a lot of pain. My body was in tremendous pain from a fall a couple of years ago, and everything hurt every day. And so I found a 30-minute exercise that I do every day, every morning at 6:30. I'm on it, and I do not miss. And today I am pain-free. I am totally pain-free. And I will tell you, that is one great thing that I did, a great happening brought into gratitude. I'm so grateful for a pain-free body, because when you're in pain all the time, it's hard to keep the right attitude on things and go in the right direction. So that was at the top of my list. An exercise that worked, that took the pain, because I exercised always before, but this was a particular kind that took the pain out of my body. So grateful.
That's awesome. Praise God.
Yeah.
I know, Sharon, you turned us on to the My One Word book. And so last year my word was value. And I carried it through the year. And one of the things that I wrote down in my journal was, you will feel more valuable when you work to add value to others. So in terms of Project Broadcast, I feel like I've added a lot of people to that, to be able to share that content with them. Whether it be recipes or healthy tips or even the Joy series, so that has helped me feel valuable, that I'm adding value for them. And so, yes, I have to get busy and choose another word. And if you've never done that before, this book really is powerful. And, mine's all kind of tattered, and I'm sure whoever's done it before, that yours is too. But yeah, so maybe choosing a word for the year would move you forward too.
Thank you, Cheryl. I love that book. I've been living with it all week. I think we could do a whole call on people choosing their word for the year, because if you haven't done that exercise, choose a word for the year. It's one of the best things that I've ever done for transformation of life and attitude in a year.
Well, one of the things that I put down in terms of great happenings is I have done a couple of different programs with Brandon Barber, coaching academies, and it's been very impactful. And one of the things that I learned is that when I get triggered, and what I mean by that is maybe, I don't get the response I want, we all go through this, somebody says no, they don't call you back, whatever it is, but I get what he terms, and not just him, but I have as well, triggered, meaning that I get into some sort of reaction or some sort of maybe a negative self-talk sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it happens. And number one, being aware of that when I'm in that is happening. That because so many times it's unconscious. It's just like, oh yeah, okay, I'll just get up and I'll just go, and I don't even know why I'm getting distracted. Maybe I should put a little laundry in, maybe I should whatever. But being aware of it and being able to identify, oh, wait a minute, that's what's happening. And having some tools to be able to actually get some agency around that, awareness around that, and shift from that into to stay in contribution and productivity, with breathing, with just changing your state, your physiology can change everything, right? Put on some music, something that just kind of, it's an intervention of that pattern. And so that was a big learning for me this year.
Great.
As well.
Thank you, Sally.
I began January 1st, decided to play the piano, and I'm having a ball. I tell you what, I go down there and I spend 40 minutes a day, and I love it. I never dreamed. I hated it as a kid, and I just love it. So that to me is a huge accomplishment for me.
Yeah.
And, I'm really enjoying it. Someday I want to play well.
You'll have to be in the talent show.
Oh, bring a piano.
At boot camp, is there a piano in the room at boot camp?
No, but Jerry and Rosie Klein are going to be there this year, and they generally have instruments of all kinds. So we'll just see if somebody can bring a keyboard. We'll see, Beth.
I shouldn't have said anything. Oh, well, I'm having a ball with it.
Last year, I'll just share this. This was something that when the year began, I just wanted to be more aware of needs of other people, of friends that were going through hard times, sickness, death, whatever, and try to show more kindness, trying to do some acts of kindness. And that was something that made me feel really good throughout the year of doing that.
Beautiful.
And Ann, I can see you being the perfect person to do that. That's your, you ooze kindness and love. So.
Yes, you do.
Thank
Yes.
you. It was, I wanted to be more aware, but thank you.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So anybody else want to share?
I just want to say about Ann, I wanted to be more aware, and it didn't seem like a big thing maybe, but over time it was a compounding interest, I'm sure, Ann. And I think sometimes we think our changes have to be big things, a lot of big things. It's like, I love Cheryl, what she said about it is about the word value, and just that one word made a bigger scope in a lot of people. So I just want to encourage us that it doesn't have to be, don't think it has to be, monumental things, but little things make the big difference for sure. Does anybody else want to share? I'd hate for anybody to feel they need to share.
I want to share one more thing. I know we really enjoy traveling, but I travel with my husband. I travel with friends. I travel with you guys. And I've really tried to be intentional about putting things on my calendar with friends. Have you ever talked with friends? Oh yeah, we should do that. We should get together. We should have dinner. And then it never happens. And so, somebody said that to me, Cheryl, you go. Well, especially people in my classes, because I have to sub out my classes because I'm going. But I think it's important to meet with those people, to visit your relatives, to go to that concert like I just went to spend that time, so if you can, just try to put it on your calendar.
Great.
Very good.
Yeah.
Take the picture.
Take the picture, yeah.
Okay. All hearts and minds clear here before we close. So thank you guys again for being here. Just want to close off with some questions. This isn't in the year in review, but it's some questions that I have. And somehow I'm trying to put this in a document that we can put, because I feel like that can be shared. And I was listening to Kristen Boss today I'm in that 3-day course. After nearly 40 years, I still want to grow, and I'm still signing up for stuff, to grow spiritually and mentally and emotionally and relationships and coaching and just, community and everything. So one of the things that she did challenge us to do is to be an action taker. And I'm just going to write that down. I want to be an action taker. I want to take action on whatever goals that we set for the year, whatever intentions that we have. It's one thing to write it all down on paper and plan it all out, but then it's going to be another thing to take action. And that's one of the things I've really liked, valued about our new CEO, Travis. At the end of a lot of his calls, he gives us a to-do. Remember how he says, go do this, go do that, take action. So we're getting some great direction there. So here's some questions that might be helpful for you as we reflect on who you are and what you want. And first of all, I think it's always good to reflect on what are our priorities. What are our priorities? What is important in our lives? Our families, and in the book First Things First from Stephen Covey really changed my life years ago when he said to write down all your roles. I'm a mom, I was a wife, I was a sister, I was a daughter, I'm an aunt, I'm a friend, I'm a this, I'm a that. And then how do you want to show up in that role? So those are priorities in your relationships. So what are your priorities? And certainly, what are your guiding principles or beliefs that are deeply important to you? And then what energy, I love this question, what energy do we want to bring to everything we do? And it's all about energy. There's a great book I read. It's not about time management. It's about energy management. And if something's, in fact, yesterday between 2 calls that I had, I cleaned out a closet. That closet was getting on my nerves. And I go like, every time I look in it, it's dragging my energy. So I went in there and cleaned it out. And today when I opened it up, I went, woo, this feels so good. So whatever is thinking about taking your energy down, or things that we need to address, we need to change, we need to do some things different. But what energy do we want to bring to everything we do? Do we want to bring positive energy, encouraging energy, loving energy? serving energy? You know, you decide. And then what is the impact or difference I want to make in other people's lives or in my own life? What is the impact or difference I want to make? And then how do I want to serve, contribute, or add value? And so that goes right into your word, Cheryl, add value. How do I want to contribute, serve, or add value? And specifically, when we think about our Juice Plus mission of inspiring healthy living, this specifically to our mission is how many families do you want to impact in 2024 for better health? How many families? 10 families, 1 family a month, 5 families a month, 30 families in a year? Break it down to a month. I like breaking down 5 families a month, and we teach 5-1, 5 new customers a year, but specifically, how many families do we want to impact for 2024 for their health or their finances? And I know I can speak from my own personal experience. I am so deeply grateful to the person who stepped out of her comfort zone and spoke to me about this business.
Right.
And that'll be 40 years in May. And she used to say, my sponsor said she couldn't lead in silent prayer. That's how timid she was. But she spoke to me that day about this. And I said, tell me more. So how many families do we want to impact? How many people do we want to join? Just specifically look at our Jumpstart 2024 in January, March, February, March. We've got a 90-day activity coming up with Jumpstart 2024, where we have got programs, we've got resources, we've got support, we've got everything put together. How many people would you like to have join you in that first 90 days of 2024? Those are some specific things that we could answer. And then what do you love to do? What is it that you love? What brings you joy? What gets us engaged? What gets us excited? What gets us motivated? And what are our passions? And I like to even think about what do I love to do, doing what I love to do in the community, serving, contributing in my church, in my entertaining. I don't know. What do you love to do? After a year of regrouping from caring for my dad for 3 years, I finally am entertaining again on a regular basis in my community and with people. And it feels so good to do that, to bring people together. And it seems like nobody else is doing it, so I might as well do it and support people and bring joy. So what do you love to do? What gets you engaged, motivated, excited? And then I like this question because I answered it. When am I at my best? When am I at my best? And this could be the time of day. This could be our environments. It could be who we're with. Are there some relationships we need to take a look at? Or we have relationships that drain us or relationships that lift us up. But when am I at my best? And we'll just stop with those questions right there. And so thank you guys for being here. I don't know if anybody else has something they want to share before we sign off this evening. Did it in an hour. Thank you, Sally. Thank you for leading us through our hearing review. Thank you, everybody who shared. Thank you guys for being here. And we start, Jumpstart January starts here on the 8th. If you don't know what it's about, please, Paula did a beautiful, beautiful job in our team Facebook page. I know she did it in her own community, but she did it in the larger, at my request, our larger Facebook group, of putting all the guides in there, breaking it down, how to do this, all the resources. It's on boards, but sometimes it seems overwhelming when it comes at you, but she broke it down into bite-sized pieces. So post on social media, invite some people to join us. We're inviting all of our team to do the Jumpstart 2024 starting January the 8th and create a new story. So thank you guys for being here.
January 4th.
Oh, and January the 4th. Yes, thank you. January the 4th. Before we come together again on January the 8th, we will have our Explore the Possibilities. This is where you can invite other people to come and learn about our product and our community and our mission. And Paula and Cheryl and Karen Drake and Dr. Wanda Terrell will be directing that call.
Very good. It's an excellent call.
It's an excellent call. So proud of our team members who are doing that call. You guys do a phenomenal job.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful, wonderful New Year celebration. Be safe and hug your people and take pictures. Okay. Good night.
Thank you,
everybody.
Sharon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sally.
Happy New Year.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Happy New Year.
Good night.